A wish becomes a goal and ultimately your achievement when you know your reason, you've built a system, and you change your behavior accordingly. Today, we're gonna talk about how to work on our goals. I'll share something my father taught me when I was still a little child, and also a few non-standard approaches that helped me take control of my life. Before you start planning your goal, you set your goal. And how you set your goal is going to influence the whole strategy to achieve it. Many of us often say, I just want to have more free time, but few of us actually go deeper and try to understand what we're going to be doing with all of this free time. Start with why. First, we should connect every goal to its meaning and purpose, our why. This way, your vision and ideas become easier to outline and understand because you think about the reason you want to do something and the impact it will have on you. It becomes easier to understand what you should and should not be doing because now your priorities are connected to a purpose. To find a deeper meaning behind your goal, you can follow the 5-question approach. So your goal is, I want to move abroad and start an online business. First, you ask yourself, why do you want to move abroad and start an online business? You think about it, you respond. Let's say your response is, so that I can experience a new culture and lifestyle while pursuing my entrepreneurial dreams. Then you ask yourself a question, why do you want to experience a new lifestyle and new culture? You're basically going deeper and deeper. Your answer might be so that I can break out of my comfort zone, learn from diverse perspectives, and create a business that reflects a global mindset. And you guessed it right. Question number 3, question number 4, and question number 5 are all going even deeper. Every single time you give yourself an answer, you're basically asking the question, why? Imagine you're a kid and you're not satisfied with the simple answer and you're constantly asking yourself, why? Why? And then boom, there you have it. With this approach, you'll be able to find a deeper meaning for every single one of your goals. I have found this approach especially useful when I feel like I have this goal, a goal to do something, to achieve something, but I'm not actually sure why. And I'm not even sure if I actually truly want to achieve this goal. So for me, this approach also helps me filter out all the goals that I kind of call fake goals, like goals that I don't actually have. Maybe social media influenced me, maybe someone else, maybe a book. And so when I go deeper and I ask myself all of these different questions, I can understand if this is actually my goal, if this is something that I want to achieve, and why I want to achieve this. The why behind every goal is often bigger than you think. It gives you clarity and helps you know your priorities. And yes, I understand that for many of you, this end goal might seem quite distant and major, but I feel like with this strategy, you're going to plan your goals in a completely different way. You're gonna act in a completely different way compared to if you just focused on your surface goal. I just want to move abroad and build an online business. But why? I'm going to provide you with some concrete examples and planning strategies later in the video. But right now, I want to take a moment and tell you about today's sponsor, an incredible tool that transformed the way I create content, Riverside. Riverside is the easiest way for you and your team to create, edit, and share video content and podcasts. You can do it all from the comfort of your own space, no matter where you are in the world. And the best part, you only need to send a link to your guest. No complicated setups or downloads required. And now here's something that truly sets Riverside apart: separate audio and video tracks for every single participant. This feature gives you more control in post-production. You all know that I have a podcast together with Sam, my co-host, and the podcast is called the Bridging Borders Podcast. And guess where we record all of our shows right now? On Riverside. It has streamlined my recording and video editing process, allowing me to focus more on creating engaging content and less on some technical hassles. We always use their transcription feature powered by AI because it is extremely accurate, reliable, and saves us a lot of time. Another feature of Riverside that I use all the time is their magic clips. If you go to our podcast on YouTube, you will see a bunch of short videos. and Riverside helped me create those. Their AI automatically identifies the best moments and clips them out for me from the full episode. It's like having my own editing assistant. And I can also add automatic captions that match my brand perfectly and make my content more accessible to everyone. So if you're a content creator, a podcaster, or maybe someone who's looking to up their video game, Riverside is a game changer for you. You can check out the link in my description and use my code Veronika for 15% off. Thank you again to Riverside for sponsoring this video, and now let's get back to the content. What my dad taught me. Now that you know the meaning behind your goal, you know your priorities, it's time to start planning your goals. What works for me is creating systems to achieve these goals. So I always love to ask myself this question, okay, Veronika, if you have this goal, how are you going to achieve it? And it's actually something that my dad taught me when I was still a little kid. I know that right now there's so many people online talking about the importance of creating systems, and it is absolutely true. I feel like only growing up I started to understand more and more what this principle actually was, because when I was a little kid, my dad would only tell me, okay, you have this goal, it's amazing, but how are you going to achieve this? What will you do exactly every single day? And when I was younger, in middle school and in high school, I remember that this strategy helped me a lot, because sometimes I would set incredibly ambitious goals for myself, and I would get scared. I would get scared and I would be like, no, I don't think I can achieve it because it's just, way too ambitious for me. But then once I remembered the strategy of what are you going to do every single day, basically breaking down my goal and creating a system out of this goal. And this makes it a lot easier because you start understanding that these things are going to nudge you closer to your end goal, even if it's extremely ambitious. Ultimately, goals should be set to provide direction. You don't really focus on your goal much because you really have to focus on your actions and behaviors. There's a strategy called backwards planning. Instead of moving towards your goal, you plan your life as if this is already a reality. You build a road from your future self to your present self. And why is this approach so powerful? Because you start analyzing what this person, your future self, looks like. What knowledge do I possess? What do I look like? What responsibilities do I have? How do I feel? How do I spend my evenings and mornings? How do I manage my finances? For example, one of the things I'm really focusing on right now is learning Spanish. So when I think about it, my future self is fluent in Spanish. So there's definitely some type of immersion happening every single day. I listen to a lot of podcasts in Spanish. I have conversations with my friends, with different people in Spanish. And every single time I want to make a new recipe, I try to look it up in Spanish. So what stops me to actually start implementing all of those things right now? Nothing. Maybe just me, my laziness. And I think it's important to really understand that sometimes, well, most of the time, not sometimes, but most of the times it's you who is stopping yourself from achieving your goals. While you're doing this reverse planning, 3 things will happen. First, you will notice that you're so much closer to your goal than you actually think you are. Sometimes we think that this goal is so far away from us, like we'll never be able to achieve it. But in reality, it is not. You either already have some necessary skills and habits, or you can easily learn them. Those are things that you are in control of. For example, if my future self listens to a lot of podcasts in Spanish, I can do it too, like totally. Every time I go to the gym, every time I cook, I can listen to a podcast in Spanish. It is not difficult at all. The second thing you will notice is potential obstacles. Those are the things not under your control, and you cannot implement them next week. Let's go back to our person who wants to move abroad and build an online business. You are in control of learning the language of this country where you want to move to. You are in control of finding the right job that allows you to work online, work remotely, and dedicate more time to your side hustle. And you are in control of learning how to start your own online business. But you're not in control of how the economic and political situation in that country will affect your business. I really like this quote by Bruce Lee. A goal is not always meant to be achieved. It often serves simply as something to aim at. And sometimes we don't achieve our goals, and it's absolutely okay. Our life changes, our priorities change, so it's totally okay at one point in your life to just let it go. And 3, you will have to identify what stands in the way of achieving your goal and restructure your life. Those might be your excuses, fears, unrealistic deadlines, your current budget, or maybe your obligations. So let's say you want to sign up for a language class, but you're afraid that you don't have the budget for it. How do you find the budget? Maybe you need to look at your finances and restructure something there. Maybe you need to cancel a few subscriptions that you no longer use. Or maybe you need to start cooking more meals at home instead of eating out every single evening. Or maybe instead of one-on-one classes, you choose group classes or just study by myself. And that is actually what my other channel, Veronika's Language Diaries, is dedicated to. There I talk about language learning and I share my experience. And I always tell you there that it is absolutely possible to learn a foreign language completely by yourself. This self-discovery can help create a vision of how your future skills can become your present skills. I think it's important to remember that we don't have forever. We can't wait until we achieve all of our goals, or better, until someone else just comes and magically helps us achieve all of our goals. All we have is today. So if your goal is to have your own house and live closer to nature, don't wait and start spending more time being closer to nature right now. Take long walks in parks in your city, start jogging, for example, every single morning so that you can fill your lungs with oxygen. There's so many different ways to connect to nature and start exploring them right now. Don't wait until you have enough experience to start your own business. There's not such a thing as enough experience because you will be always learning and growing. Instead, start educating yourself on what goes into building it, into building a business. Watch interviews with people that you admire and learn how they did it. Remember, your life is happening right now. We all know this amazing quote by Nelson Mandela: "Vision without action is just a dream. Action without vision just passes the time. And vision with action can change the world." You're not alone. Another thing to keep in mind when you're building a system around your goal is that, of course, you still have obligations. At the very least, you might have people around you who love you and want your attention, like your parents, your partner, your kids, and your pets. Sometimes we might be so obsessed with our goal that we start neglecting our environment. And I personally don't think it's a great thing. But yes, I know sometimes our environment might hold us back. So it's very important to analyze everything. Maybe sometimes you have to ignore it, but sometimes you can't and you don't want to. And in this case, we can always find role models we look up to. Maybe some people on the internet, or maybe some people in your life that you know can help you somehow. I remember back when I was just creating the very first version of my website and I decided to create my own speaking club, I actually asked my friend Josue, who I ran a marathon with, for a lot of marketing tips because he knows a lot of amazing things when it comes to marketing. He helped me set up my website, and other 2 friends consulted me on how to launch this project better. So guys, you're not alone, and asking for help is totally acceptable. What I think is not really acceptable is when you try to put the responsibility on this person. You know, it is still my website, it is still my speaking club, it was in the past. And I had to take full responsibility for this course, for my website. Of course, maybe someone else helped me, right? Like consulted me, gave me encouragement, but it's still all on me. It's still my full responsibility because it's something that I wanted to do. And another thing that came into my mind is taking into account all the people you live with. Let's say your goal is to learn to play guitar, right? But you have a roommate, and your roommate might not be very happy about it because you need to practice every single day, and you know, not everyone is gonna like it. There's no way you can play guitar without disturbing that person. So what do? You restructure. Again, it's point number 2. It's all about building systems. Having a roommate should not be an excuse. You start looking for a place to practice, like a special music studio with soundproof rooms. It all depends on you, right? If you truly want to achieve this goal, you can definitely for sure find ways to achieve it. And finally, celebrate small wins. Make sure you take the time to reflect and applaud your efforts. I know this time is when many of you guys are creating your New Year's resolutions, but when I'm creating mine, first I ask myself this question: what did I achieve this year? When I do this, it makes me feel great and it releases dopamine into my brain. And it also, in a way, reinforces my good habits and good behaviors. It will be another reminder to you that your life is happening right now. You recognize the work that you do, you measure yourself, and you give yourself feedback. This is exactly what I'm trying to do with this YouTube channel right now, because my big goal, my ambitious goal, is to reach 100,000 subscribers. And I know I can do it, but for me to be able to do it, I need to, applaud my achievements. I need to see like what I did right, what I did wrong, and learn from all of this and repeat. Do this, learn, repeat. Do this thing, learn from this thing, and repeat it all over again. I hope this video was insightful for you. Let me know in the comments down below what small steps you can take today that will bring you closer to your end goal. If you're looking for a place to record high-quality videos and podcasts, I highly recommend Riverside. You can check them out by clicking the link in the description. If you're thinking about what to watch next, you might enjoy my video on how I organize my phone to stay productive online. So you can click right here and check it out.